Okay, so today I want to go over if you should be switching up your workout all the time and what people actually mean by that. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is I'm going to talk more about from a rep standpoint. So if you want to switch up your workouts relatively frequently, but from a rep standpoint, that's actually like extremely normal and is honestly a really good way to progressively overload. So what I mean by switching it up rep wise is, let's say you're working, just for explanation's sake, let's just say we're always doing let's say we're doing a lat pull down, right? So let's say I'll just use like weights I use. So today I used 160, I think it was like 163 for the lat pull down, right? And I did 9 reps. So let's say next week when I go in, I'm gonna switch and try and do 10 reps, but still 163, and try and increase the number of reps I do. And then let's say I hit, for me, I usually hit 10, and then the second I can do 10 reps of a weight, I jump back down to 6, but up the weight. So from 163, maybe I'll go to 173 or 170, somewhere around there. And then if I can do 6 reps, let's just say I can only do 6 reps of that, right? I'm gonna work up till I hit 10 and then go back down. And that's just actually an extremely normal way to progressively overload. So from the standpoint of switching up your workouts, in terms of rep ranges, that is like extremely normal and honestly is actually a really good way to work out and to progressively overload, because it makes sure that you're trying to get at least another half rep, whatever it is, each time you go in. So honestly, I would 100% recommend you do that. Now there's the other aspect of what some people mean when they say, should I switch up my workouts all the time? And that's in terms of exercise selection. So I have 2 kind of things that, honestly, I'm gonna let you decide what you wanna do with this, but there's 2 things you should know before deciding if you should be switching up your workouts all the time. If you're switching it because you think that your workout plan just isn't effective, if you haven't used it for like, I'd say at least 2 months, there's no point in switching. You didn't even give it enough time to work. So obviously you're not gonna see the results from it. You didn't give it enough time to work. So if you haven't given it enough time to work, obviously don't switch up your workout plan. Now, the next thing is, some people, like, there's this myth out there that you can like shock the muscle. Like, first of all, your muscles don't have like brains and thoughts. They don't like show up to the gym. Like, let's say you hit chest every Monday. Your muscles, you don't wake up on a Monday and your muscles like, ooh, can't wait to chest it, or like, that's just like not a thing, like at all. Now, your muscles do get used to doing certain movements, and when you do a new movement, you're going to feel more sore. But that's just because it's different. That doesn't mean it's going to be more effective either. It's just the fact that you haven't done that specific movement pattern either on a frequent basis or before. So that's why I think that's where that myth actually came from, was people just doing new exercises and feeling so sore. And they, like, if you're someone who lifts all the time, you don't really get crazy sore like you did at the beginning. But if you do a new movement, you do get that crazy soreness. Now, that does not mean it's more effective. It's just not something that's natural to you. That's why, like, when people show up to the gym for the first time, they feel extremely sore afterwards. Their body is not used to doing things like that. So you cannot do that. Okay, so obviously there, I just kind of like, in some sort of a sense, bashed switching up the exercises you do. Now, I don't totally disagree with switching up the exercise you do for your workouts. But what I will say is there are certain exercises that I would suggest that you keep as like staples in your routine. So for example, what I mean by this, when I hit chest, I always will do some type of an incline press and a fly. Typically, I'll do like a pec deck, always. Those are 2 things that no matter what exercises I feel like doing on that chest day, those will be 2 of them. Another example of this is for triceps. I'm always gonna do a tricep pushdown. That's a staple. But for example, I typically do 4 chest exercises and 3 tricep exercises on my push days. For those other exercises, those might rotate in and out. Now, typically I'll have like 3 or 4 other exercises that I'll rotate between. So it's not like a crazy variety, but there is some sort of variety. Personally, I do that just to keep the lifts a little bit more entertaining. And obviously I like some more than others. So it allows me to do exercises that I enjoy doing more, but also makes me still do some of the other exercises. And now I'll just quickly say, like, it's the same thing for back, biceps, shoulders, legs, like every muscle group. I have a couple that are staples and then a couple that exercises that I just kind of rotate between based on sometimes what's just open, depending on the time I go, if the gym's busy and I don't really want to wait, or if I don't have the time to wait that day. That's why it is good in some sense to be able to switch it up and not be so beholden to just one specific workout routine. Now, a thing to take into account though is when you're switching and rotating between exercises, make sure that you're doing exercises that achieve the same goal. Like if you're gonna swap something out, you want to achieve the same goal. So what I mean by this is, obviously I said incline bench press of some sort, some kind of incline press is always a part of my chest day. But like, let's say for whatever reason, I couldn't do it on a chest day, right? I'm not gonna then go put in a decline press because that's now training. Obviously it's still training my chest, but it's training an entirely different part of my chest. If you're gonna make a swap, you wanna switch to something that works a little bit more. So like for me, typically I'll do a Smith machine incline bench press, but some days maybe both Smith machines are taken and I'm a little busy that day and I gotta hurry up. Maybe I'll go use dumbbells that day or a barbell that day or things like that. Or maybe I'll go use the incline machine press, things like that. It's like making swaps like that you're still trying to do the same thing and achieve the same outcome. Because if you're gonna make the switch, you wanna at least still achieve the same thing. Okay, so for the Sunday Night Football pick'ems this week, we have Eagles versus Rams. This is such a difficult game for me to try and analyze for you guys because the line is Eagles -3. But obviously, as you can see, I'm at my actual home now and I'm not in my apartment at school, but in all my videos, you see my Giants flag. I am a Giants fan. So I always have some hatred towards the Eagles, actually quite a lot of it. But I'm also really high on the Rams. The Rams are one of the few teams that I'm just like much higher on than most people. So that's why like I want to say take Rams. But like realistically, the Eagles should probably win the game. They're a really talented team. Honestly, the only thing I'm going to say is I'm taking Rams plus 7.5. That's all the advice I'm going to give you guys because honestly, I don't want to screw anyone over and that's all I can think of right now. So yeah. Okay, so that is my opinion on if you should be switching your workouts and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you now know how to switch based on reps, based on exercises, things like that. Send this to your gym rat. Send this to your favorite gym rat. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on next Sunday, 5 p.m. Catch you there.